Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go ahead and search for Barb on most of the popular podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, as well as the others. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of your largest assets, your home. Barb, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, Richard, what we're seeing right now in the market is more and more sellers are having to reduce their price just to entice a buyer to make an offer. And there are some sellers that are actually withdrawing from the marketplace right now and waiting until next spring to go on the market because they're already sitting on low interest rates and they can wait. So it's really an interesting market. And we'll go into some detail about what some of the experts are predicting, what we'll see going through the holiday season and going forward from there. And then the second topic is about how to get your home ready for sale. If you're going to do the full-on traditional sale process versus selling to a cash buyer, buyers will eliminate homes initially online based on the pictures and the pricing. So those two things have to be right, followed by how does it present and how does it compare to the competition? So we're going to go over some tips on what you can do in order to prepare. And a lot of people are looking way in advance of when they want to sell, especially right now. And then the third topic we're going to talk about are some of the very interesting contract provisions that a home seller really needs to pay attention to, that they should watch carefully when they accept a contract from a buyer, because in this state, the contracts are very buyer friendly. And the buyer has all these opportunities to bail out, no harm, no foul, get their earnest money back. But when it comes to the seller, there are very few outs. And many times the buyer is demanding that they move out prior to closing. That way they can move right in on closing day, yet they can still walk away on closing day and get their earnest money back. So we're going to talk about some contract provisions to protect sellers. And then the very last topic is, why would a home seller or buyer do business with one agent over another? And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
Barb, the real estate market has had some recent turmoil, which could be good for buyers and not so good for sellers. You are so good at this. Please explain it to us, Barb.
Well, thank you. New stats are just in from the Pikes Peak region. I'm pretty sure it's consistent really all across the country. Typically, what we see is that prices tend to go up through probably June in the early part of the year. And then what happens the rest of the year really depends on how much inventory there is and where the rates are going. So for the last 2 years, in 2023 and in 2022, the interest rates for mortgages really spiked up the latter half of the year. Last year, we saw rates over 8%. The year before, that was the first time they increased the rates from the threes, and it started in the summer. And by the time the summer was over, the rates were around 7.5. So it really created a lot of demand destruction for buyers, and surged up the inventory at the same time because it was all about affordability. Buyers buy on house payments. But what we're seeing this year, which is different than the last 2 years, is the number of available homes on the market has really spiked up over 35% as compared to a year ago. And that's interesting to me. So as we have more inventory, there's more houses for buyers to choose from, meaning more competition. So it's hard to look back on what just sold a few months ago and say, my home is similar to that, it should sell at that price. It's just not working right now. And the result is, just in the past week, 17% of home sellers have lowered their price. That's if you calculate that number based on a monthly basis, that's almost 70% of home sellers are reducing their price, and only 14% got contracts. Now it's a little better than the week before, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the rates are coming down right now, and that's a good thing. But long term, the price reductions are the thing that's going on right now, because it's hard to judge in a declining market, where is the market going? And so as we have lower rates, it will mean that some buyers are going to get back in the game, but a lot of them are just kind of standing by, waiting to see where the bottom is on interest rates. I think the Fed's going to meet next week. So we don't really know where it's going. We do know that right now, mortgage applications, even though the rates are a full point and a quarter, even though the rates are a full 1.25% below what they were in the springtime, we're still seeing lower buyer volume and lower number of sales as compared to the springtime. Some of that could be seasonality. I know in the Pikes Peak region, there's a lot of military that tend to transfer, April, May, June, that time frame. Whereas other areas, it may not be affected by that. But the other thing that we're seeing, which is really a surprise, is that there are more sellers withdrawing from the market. So they had their house on the market. It's not selling. They're sitting on nice low interest rates. So they're like, well, I'll just wait until the springtime when the prices peaked out. So if you look at the numbers in the beginning part of the year, the average amount of increase from the year before was 3 to 5% higher. We've given up all that ground now going into the fall, and that's mostly because there's a lot more inventory, even though the rates are lower. So one of the experts I follow said that for every 2 home sales, there's one seller that's actually going to withdraw their house on the market and wait until prices improve and then go back on the market again at that time. And I think that's really interesting. The reason they're doing it is that most home sellers are sitting on really low interest rates. They might have gotten their mortgage really anytime between 2008 and 2022, essentially. They would have gotten really, really low rates. So it's not as expensive. And so maybe they wait until the springtime when the prices come up a little bit. What we're seeing really is that the inventory is going up, right? But it's not really that different than what we saw last year. And the thing that really struck me when I was looking at the statistical data is if you go back to previous years, like from 2018 through 2021, inventory was actually higher at that time. So we're at lower inventory overall, but still more than last year. And so as we see pending contracts maybe tick up as the rates go down and sellers withdraw their home from the market because they're not getting the price that they want, it could mean another situation where the inventory drops again because the rates are down, number of available homes is down. That means fewer homes to compete with for sellers. And we could see kind of a bottom, meaning it's not going to go any lower. So I think that's good news. And as of today, the rates were for a conventional loan, 30-year fixed, it's at 6.25%. VA is down at 5.72%. Those are great rates. And if you couple that with buying down your interest rates, it can make the home pretty close to being as affordable as it was during the boom. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next month or so. But basically right now, if you need to sell right now, it's really important that you get what I call all the 4 Ps right: preparation, picking the right agent, pricing it right, and promoting the home so that you get top dollar. I was just on the phone with a home seller yesterday that's really frustrated. His home has been sitting on the market for 110 days. And it wasn't so much a pricing problem with this home. When he had me review it, it was a marketing problem. The agent was too cheap to spend $200 to $300 and get professional photos. This is a beautiful home that backs to open space and a great location. But he used his smartphone to take pictures and they were dark. They weren't wide angle. They didn't show off the real attributes of the room. So he really has a marketing problem more than anything else at the worst possible time when prices are starting to correct like 3 to 5%. So we'll see what happens on that one. So if you'd like to get a free report on the 7 tips on how to get your house ready to sell for top dollar, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on the green button for free reports. And if you're selling now, it's really critical that you price your home what I call realistically versus optimistically. My name is Barb Schlinker. I am the host of the show, your real estate voice, and the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, barbhasthebuyers.com. And we're talking about how prices are dropping and more sellers are withdrawing from the marketplace until the spring. And when we come back, we're going to talk about just a few things that might help a home seller get the right price when they're selling right now. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. We not only have over 27,000, almost 970 buyers in waiting, but we also have our cash buyers that can make the experience go quickly and well for you. So call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, we're talking about the current real estate market and how people can be prepared if they want to buy or sell a home. What should home sellers expect and do in a market situation just like this one?
Well, I'm seeing that there are probably a lot of buyers sitting on the sideline waiting until it's affordable, waiting until they can handle the rates. But it's been my experience in all these years that in any market, when a home is priced aggressively, what I call very realistically, the buyers seem to have a natural nose for finding deals, right? And they're all over it. So I tell sellers, even though it's counterintuitive, that they're always going to get the most money if they price it just slightly below the full market value, if not more, to generate multiple offers, and then they get to pick the best buyer. I think that's what you can expect going forward. So going into the holiday, it is possible if some sellers decide to wait to sell, we could see a decrease in inventory, especially if the rates keep coming down. And you have to be prepared when you're ready to go. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. We have 27,970 buyers in waiting, plus our 70 high net worth cash buyers that might make the right offer for your home. Call us now, 719-301-3900 or barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or go ahead and visit her website, barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how to get your home ready for sale. Stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it.